Wow, Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition after all this time. I can't wait to download some Creation Club content. Let's go to the store. What the hell is this? How do I leave? I haven't saved my game. Shall I click this? The operation could not be completed. No, come on. What is it? What the? Oh, f all this. Fallout 76 came out in November 2018 and was one of the most disastrous AAA releases of all time. The idea was you could play and explore in an all-new Fallout map online with your friends. But it was full of glitches, unstable servers, and disembodied Todd Howard faces. And of course, famously, there were no human NPCs in the game to talk to or interact with. All we had to entertain ourselves was the stimulating conversation with random humans we met online.
You there, do you like My Little Pony?
Oh no, he's on to me. It's now the year it currently is, and I decided I would try Fallout 76 and see if it's gotten any better since its release. Fortunately though, I bought this game in 2018, so I don't need to buy it again. So let's go download it. A big thing about this game's original PC release is that it was only available on the Bethesda.net launcher. You couldn't even get it on Steam. So a few weeks ago, I went to the Bethesda.net website, and after several minutes of navigating this website that will literally just send you around in circles, I learned that the Bethesda.net launcher went the way of Windows Live Gaming. And you can't download the PC version of this game here anymore. Instead, they moved its download page to Steam. Steam. This doesn't mean you need to rebuy the game though. Oh no. If you want to play it on Steam, all you need to do is go to the Fallout 76 Steam page, similar to games you've played Fallout New Vegas. Fuck off. Then all you need to do is link your Steam account to your Bethesda.net account. And to do this, you just click the link here. Account linking failed. Contact customer support. Oh no! After a lot of failed tries, I eventually found a help page on Bethesda's website. The site suggested that it could be that I have a second Bethesda account already linked to my Steam. So I went to my official UpIsNotJump Gmail account and found that I did create a second Bethesda account in 2022. So I clicked the link and this took me to this second Bethesda.net account. And I found this. That's weird. I've never even owned an Xbox. Matt, someone has used your public work email address as their Xbox account email, so when you click that link, you just gave a random Xbox account access to your Bethesda.net that you set up using your personal password and UpIsNotJump work email that has a direct access to your UpIsNotJump YouTube account. Oh.
Sugar do.
Oh. So I quickly search how to unlink my Bethesda.net account, and it tells me to contact Bethesda customer support. But when I click through this site and find the option to submit a ticket, all it does is take me back to the very start. And then begins the circle. How do I unlink my account? How can I unlink my Bethesda.net account? Click here to submit a ticket. How do I unlink my account? How can I unlink my... Long story short, I bought the game again on Steam. Ooh, Mitch! Speaking of Fallout though, I just want to rave about today's sponsor, Displate. I see you, at home alone with no cool art on the walls. Bam, 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 bam. Just look at this art. Well designed, 3D textured, and printed on metal, so it's durable while still adding that sleek look to your icing sugar covered home. Paper posters? Pfft. Could paper do this? Displate has over 2 million artworks available. Star Wars, Marvel, Elden Ring, The Witcher, and Fallout. Displate is also a platform for artists. Thousands of creators around the world share their designs, paintings, and illustrations on metal canvas. And to put it up, you don't need power tools or skill of any kind, really. Each comes with a magnet kit, so it's easy to hang in seconds. And you can easily swap out designs. You can also get custom displates too. All you need to do is take your favorite photo or artwork, get an instant preview, and place your order in minutes. So, holiday season is around the corner. Skip the boring gifts. Get a gift that gets you. Or surprise someone who shares your fandom. Use the discount link in the description, which will apply automatically at checkout, or use my code UpIsNotJump to get 33% off for 1 or 2 displates, 38% off for 3 displates, and 40% off for 4 and more displates. And now back to Fallout 76. I'm just gonna say it now. I think this game's pretty good. Yeah, fuck off! Almost every single problem that led to this game being labeled as bad all those years ago has been pretty much fixed. The frame rate is stable, the game no longer randomly disconnects every 20 minutes, and in my 40-hour playthrough, most of the bugs I encountered were nothing more than mild inconveniences. I mean, just look at these graphics and a totally silent explosion. Perfect 10. On release, of course, the biggest complaint about this game was that there were no human NPCs. This meant it was the very first Fallout game where you couldn't travel around talking to people. And if you ask me what Fallout is at its beating core, I would say it's a game where you travel around talking to people. There really was nothing to do beyond reading computer terminals, notes, and log after 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 log. But over the last 6 years or so, there have been 25 pretty major updates to the game, with every single one of them being completely revolutionary. Stop adding fishing, no one cares! Look, I'll admit that many of these updates add features that if I cared about, I would just end it all right now. But over the years or so, there have been about half a dozen updates that added new characters, locations, and enemies to the game. As well as this, every single one of these updates is, and always has been, completely free. So if you bought your game back in 2018 and you can migrate your fucking Steam, these hundreds of hours of new content are free. And in a game that runs really well. As long as you don't use binoculars. To illustrate the improvements made to this game, as well as the series as a whole, let's compare it to Fallout 4, a game that people apparently liked. Before we go on, there is so much new content in this game, I'm just gonna review the general experience in this video. Then I'm gonna make a second video reviewing all of the major story-based updates, like I do with my Fallout DLC videos. Keep an eye out for it, but oh, let's go. In Fallout 76, you wake up in your Vault 76, but everyone is gone. 69. The first thing that happens is we leave our vault and we meet these two people outside who tell us about a great treasure out in Appalachia.
Appalachia.
No, it's Appalachia.
No.
I have played
Appalachia or Appalachia.
So we're both right. If you follow this questline, it leads you on a sprawling adventure with numerous towns, people to interact with, and some genuinely innovative gameplay that incorporates ideas from the previous games in really fun ways. With all this extra stuff, Fallout 76 actually resembles a Fallout game, and in most ways, I think is better than Fallout 4. See, as I said in my Fallout 4 review, I thought that Fallout 4 had too many enemies in Fallout 4, and thus played more like an action shooter than an exploration game, with almost every location and quest becoming an absolute slog to get through. In Fallout 76 though, there has been a clear design choice to reduce the amount of enemies. It means this game plays so much more like Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3, where combat was just something to keep your hands busy while you talked to characters, enjoyed the lonely atmosphere, and read all the fun logs. Which of these is the fun log? I think we know. And atmosphere is the key word here. Editing's my favorite thing ever. For example, at one point during my playthrough, I discovered Vault 63, and just look how creepy it is. Compare that to Vault 95 and Fallout 4. Oh my god! See, when I first played Fallout 76, I did give it a somewhat positive review. It was in a pretty bad state, sure, but the variety of the map, the visuals, and the music, I felt created a really great tone. The soundtrack especially, I would say, is probably the very best soundtrack in all the Fallout games.
I want a divorce.
New Vegas, of course, had the very best licensed music, but you get me. There is also a lot more creative design, I think, in this game as well. For example, in Fallout 4, the only enemies introduced in the whole of the main game were 2 bugs, a 2-headed deer, and a super mutant dog. That really was it. Fallout 76 adds almost as many new enemy types to the series as there are types of enemy in Fallout 4. Just look at this new 3-headed opossum.
How a magic trick.
I think because Fallout 76 isn't a major Fallout title, the designers had a lot more creative freedom in what they could put in the game. It's a bit like when Nintendo makes a Mario game that isn't part of the main series. They can go a little bit nuts. Like that time that sentient AI fell in love with Princess Peach because he watched her shower a few times. This all makes exploring Fallout 76 just a lot more interesting. When you find a cave or discover a new area, you never know what you might find. And every area of this map is so drastically different. My favorite part of the map being this swamp that has giant mutated tendrils reclaiming the land for nature. It just gives us some of the best scenery in the whole series. I'm so sweaty. Speaking of swamps, all right, I want to move on from just comparing this game to Fallout 4, so let's end with a quick fire round. In Fallout 76, all of the gunshots, weapon kickback, and screen blurs have been notably turned down. Here's Fallout 4 for comparison. This makes the combat in 76 a lot more casual, so the storytelling can take focus. Power armor can be placed into your inventory, so if it gets stuck underwater, you can just store it, or if you come up against a big boss, you can instantly deploy it rather than going all the way across the map and back each time you need it. Looting is no longer a slow chore, as after a big fight, you only need to loot one corpse and it gives you a full list of all the loot on every corpse in the nearby area. When you loot a note, it automatically opens. When you loot a holotape, it automatically plays. When you are exploring any nearby quests, are automatically highlighted on the map. And when my green screen inevitably falls on me, Fallout 76 is there to save the day.
Thank you, old friend.
But of course, none of this compares to the... Fallout 76 is the very first Fallout game to have a usable Pip-Boy interface. And I'm impressed, it's only taken 30 fucking years. Clearly, Bethesda Austin are not the sub-morons I took them for, because now all of the menus have sub-menus. Notable new additions are menus for armor, food and drink, notes, holotapes, and are you ready? Now when you accidentally pick up an item without reading it, it doesn't just disappear to the endless wastes that are your misc section. In Fallout 76, you can just go to new and find out what you picked up. See, from its very beginnings, Fallout was designed in the style of point-and-click adventure games, in that you travel around collecting items and then use those items to solve problems. And for it to have taken this long for one of the most prolific video game developers of all time to add what is essentially the most basic level of menu organization to a series like this, which is arguably the most famous video game franchise of all time, it's pretty surprising. Fallout 4's Anniversary Edition is also coming out later this week, and I will be amazed if they add any of this to the game. I'm gonna put on screen if they did. It just crashes, it won't run anymore. This was $20. Told ya. We all talk about Bethesda giving Fallout 4's engine to someone else so that they can make a better game. But come now, I am not saying that Fallout 76 is the best game ever by any means. Partly it just has the saving grace of being compared to one of the most awkwardly designed video games of all time. So let's do it. Yes, let's talk about Fallout 76's letdowns. What's really odd about this game is it plays a little bit like two different games mixed together. On the one hand, we have what the developers initially tried to do, in that this game still has huge sections of the map with no characters, just logs and holotapes. Then on the other hand, we have all the new stuff they've added, the characters, towns, and complex stories that have been sort of squashed in between this old content. And as you can imagine, this leads to some pretty jarring moments. For example, when this game first came out, the main story was following in the footsteps of your overseer by collecting holotapes and notes that she left around the wasteland. While doing this, you learn that she discovered a bioplague called the Scorched, which essentially killed or scared off everyone in Appalachia. And using her notes, you learn how to fight back against it. The thing is, the Overseer is now in the game, but she barely mentions her grand trip around the wasteland, the Scorched, or how to deal with them. It just feels like at times they never married up the original story with all of these new updates. You see, early on, hunting the Scorched remains to be this game's main story. And if you do it today, it still contains almost no human NPCs whatsoever. It's also rubbish. All you do is go to an area, find a dozen holotapes all saying the same thing.
I'm not even alive. I am about to die.
Hopefully my death has meant something.
The developers couldn't be bothered to animate me. And repeat this over and over again for 20 hours. However, all the original content this game had isn't all terrible. Interestingly, because this game's original content was to completely fill the wasteland with nothing but holotapes and background storytelling, many locations that later got new quests added actually feel really full and detailed now. Take Vault-Tec University, for example. The people below me must think I'm insane. Fuck yeah! In the the review I made when this game came out, I complained that this whole area only had one terminal with one story on it. Now though, as part of the treasure hunt questline that was added later on, you now need to come here to solve a murder mystery. And not only is this quest really well made, with all of the Mr. Handy cleaning robots playing the part of melodramatic actors.
Overseer, huh? We'll see.
What this means is, here we have the game's original backbone of lots of logs and background storytelling, combined with more complex quests and characters. And it's good. Viola. What really doesn't work for me though is the absolute blandness of all of Fallout 76's characters. And this is what I would say is probably the game's biggest issue. You see, say what you will about Fallout 4's characters.
At least it's not raining.
Thanks, Preston. Many of them were very memorable, or introduced in a way that made them very distinct or interesting. In Fallout 76, however, the standout character for me was this sentry bot who thinks that they're a cow.
Exhalation of air through nostrils.
Oh, they're so great. This is not a good thing. Vault 76. Oh, I also like the super mutant trader that goes around talking about all the meats that he really likes.
Crispy meat, fishy meat, stinky meat, rotten meat, icky meat, brown meat, seasoned meat, salty meat, slimy meat, sticky meat.
That is so good. For example, Vault 76's Overseer is now in the game. And even though she's one of the main characters, she's completely forgettable. She has no interesting character traits or fun dialogue.
Everyone learns we have to work together.
It's all just so bland. And it's the same when you meet these town leaders later on in the game. The Raider leader Meg and the Settler leader are both just so easily forgotten. Meg is one of the biggest characters in this game, and look at the first time you meet her. I just found it all really underwhelming. I should say while we're here though that the character motivations in this game are actually pretty good. The Raider faction, for example, aren't just mindless killers like you always find in the previous games. And the Settlers are believably quite untrusting of you. Like when you try and get them inoculated against the deadly scorched plague.
Inoculated? This some kind of a scare tactic?
Oh my god, they're anti-vaxxers. The thing is though, when I close my eyes and really try to think of memorable characters, only one comes to mind. But you know what really bothers me about this game? I only played this game on my own, and I think that's fair because I remember what Todd Howard said.
You can play this game solo in Quest, but the easiest way to survive in the wasteland is to team up and build together.
Don't turn around.
No, I really don't.
I'd say that actually a huge portion of this game is really well suited to playing on your own. As I've said before, this game focuses a lot more on slow-paced exploration and story-based objectives, compared to more recent titles at least. But because it's online, you are being constantly bombarded with notifications that honestly, if I cared about, I would end it all a second time. Claim a workshop, someone's created a casual team, public teams available, entering event, leaving event, new public event is starting, your wife is leaving you, server disconnected. It is relentless. I never loved you anyway, get out! I just think, are all of these messages really necessary? Just look at this notification for a public event. Recommended level 50. I received this message when I was level 27. Leave me alone! Also, working out where a grenade is gonna go requires a fucking physics degree. I get that the whole point of this game was Fallout Online, but all the best parts of this game can easily be enjoyed on your own. Would it really hurt to let us have an offline server with all of the multiplayer stuff removed? Wait, what's this? A private adventure where I get my own private server where I can be on my own? All I need to do is purchase Fallout First for only £11.99 a month? You know, actually, that isn't that bad. I might buy that. No, stop. I'm here from the future to save you. I've forgotten my line. Now I know what you want. You expect me to get really angry here, put on a Todd Howard mask and cover myself with whipped cream. But no. The reality is, in my 40-hour playthrough, I didn't once get an in-game notification about the store. Or reach a point where I felt like I needed to spend money in order to experience the game fully. It's all over the walls. Even the game's hardest bosses, like the Scorch Beast, I eventually killed all on my own. All I had to do was level up using the mountain of free content this game has. The store is obviously a big part of this game's history, so let's break it down a bit. Fallout First is a subscription service in this game where you pay $11.99 £9.99 or $12.99. I'm sorry, who the fuck came up with this conversion rate? Liz Truss? If you pay this monthly subscription, you can of course then download all of these weapons and cosmetics in the store for no extra cost. No, that's not true at all. See, this shop has things that you can buy, but it also has things that you can buy only if you buy a monthly subscription to Fallout First. So you're telling me if I want to buy this chair, I must first pay $13 a month to give me the option to buy a chair, then buy 1,200 atoms so I can afford to buy the chair, which means I need to spend a total of $23 just so I can buy a chair.
It's chair, bitch!
You do get more than a chair, of course. The economy of this store is also insane. 5,000 atoms costs roughly $40. And for that, you can't even afford these 5 power armor skins, let alone all the other masses of content this store has. I really don't mind if games have these stores as long as they aren't shoved into your face, or if you can realistically complete the game without spending any money. But for $40, you can pretty much buy Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and still have enough change left over to save up for Fallout Tactics. But in Fallout 76, you'll never be able to afford half of whatever the hell these things are. I think given that we've already paid at least $40 for this game, and I've paid it twice, it just seems a little pricey. The final thing to talk about, of course, is that Fallout First also gives you unlimited storage for crafting components, which to many people is likely the biggest reason to get it. See, in this game, you can only store your items in your camp, and you have a weight limit of 1,200 pounds. If you get Fallout First, though, you gain the ability to store an unlimited amount of crafting components, like wood, adhesive, and failed marriage certificates. The thing is, though, for me, I played a lot of Fallout 76 over the last 2 weeks, and without really limiting what I stored, I only filled about 1/3 of my space. So I don't see this as essential either. Seriously, it makes me shudder to think the sort of person I'd need to be to want more space in Fallout 76. Matt, what are you doing? Playing Fallout 76. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why on earth are you playing Fallout 76? Because I've lost control of my life. Wait, what? Oh, it looks like you've run out of storage space. I think you just need to pay for Fallout First now. Wow, another great video. And as always, I try and keep the production value in these videos high, so please consider joining my Patreon to help me out with that. Also, thanks to Displate for sponsoring this video. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. Also, look, here are my patrons who have brains as large as my modesty. This is what happens when I don't have a script. So how are you? I'm just enjoying some time with you while my lovely patrons get their screen time on screen. Thank you, everyone.